Hello, friends. Welcome back. We're still watching the Lizzie Bennet Diaries. I mean, we've barely gotten started. We're going to be doing this for a long time. If you want. I hope you'll stick around. And I hope you'll support me on Patreon, where you can get extended and bonus content. Extended episodes, bonus content. You've heard me say it a bunch of times now. I am joined today again by one of my favorite guests. My name is Ashley Clements.
And my name is Julia Cho, and this is the Look Back Diaries.
Theme song time. Boopy doop. She's here. She's so
I'm
cool.
here I am.
It's very appropriate that Julia's back because the name of today's episode is Charlotte's Back.
Very apropos.
You weren't gone long though. You were gone for like a day.
Yeah.
In world.
But my absence was clearly significant enough.
Notice.
Yeah.
Well, and you didn't edit my video for me.
Right. Lizzie was like, I need her back.
I need you to help me. But also you're a part of the family. You're a part of the fabric of Lizzie's life. And your absence is so keenly felt. Well, and if we establish early on that it's very hard for Lizzie to be apart from Charlotte, I don't want to give any spoilers away, but that could create some conflict, some pain later.
Yeah. Also, I'm sure, just to have someone else, I'm sure that house can get a little bit, stressful or stifling for Lizzie.
Yeah, and to have someone who is outside of it.
Yeah.
Well, and it's sometimes, when you have people being a lot around you, it's really nice to have someone with you who will just sort of like make eye contact with you silently, and you can just know, like,
I got you.
And I feel like that's exactly the friend Charlotte is. That's exactly Charlotte just being like, I see you and I understand your pain.
I know exactly.
I understand how embarrassed you are by your mother right now. Yes. Yes. Well, let's watch it. Let's look back. I mean, you edited this and you put yourself at the top. Yeah, it wasn't really so booby, but I mean, we could have really tried to go there.
I wonder if Charlotte was like, we should cut that out, and then Lizzie was like, no, just leave it in, because doesn't that add to the DIY?
It seems like you're the one arguing to keep more stuff in because
yes,
you have the vision.
You're right. She was like unofficial. Charlotte was unofficial director in all of this. Director / editor / producer.
You did just call it this is scripted, which is not something I ever thought about because, like, does Lizzie script these? We certainly sort of pretended she didn't. I mean, I think she would have had
an idea of what she wanted to say, right? Yeah.
Which is like more than I can say for myself. But see, like, I think it's partly that you have the same haircut. You've gone away from Charlotte and then come back. But this is why I'm like,
I kind of have. You're right.
Oh yeah, you're freeze.
And I'm like, Charlotte's like, let me insert myself in here.
And this is really the first time that, I mean, you've done a lot of stuff in the editing, but this is the first time you clearly snuck in here and filmed without me. Like,
You notice how the lighting is different?
I guess.
Time of day.
It's night. Where you're in my bedroom? Where am I? Aren't I asleep?
How did they do that? Did they just add a filter?
I think they changed the lights. I don't remember.
Did they actually?
I wasn't in the room. You tell me, Julia.
I can't tell you. I don't know, Ashley. I don't remember. I'm asking you.
The magic of filmmaking. They did something. They either did it in camera or in post. One of the two.
Yeah. Really only two options. Oh, these friends.
These friends. Look at my face. I'm just like, oh.
So much acting.
Yeah, really. Acting. They wanted it to be big. That's what they kept asking me for.
Did they really?
Oh, yeah, very much so. Because we were trying to emulate a lot of vloggers at the time.
That's
So,
right. Okay, that sounds
yeah,
familiar.
no, I mean, I really just kind of kept getting notes to like ramp it up, ramp it up, ramp
Oh,
it up. And
how
it felt like a
interesting.
lot, because it was. But, and I think that it kind of like settled later
Yeah,
into kind of
yeah.
like a middle
Well, I
place.
think I
Uh,
think you definitely sold it in terms of making it still feel realistic, and like, this is definitely her personality, but maybe she is amping it up a little bit for camera.
and it's something I was always aware of, that like Lizzie is aware that she's on camera, right? We
Mhm,
all the
mhm.
characters are, and for some
Yeah,
people, we see it in Lydia as well, right?
yeah,
Like there is this
yeah.
sort of performative element, and
Right.
Jane sort of shies away from the camera at first, at least, right? She's kind
Mhm,
of like, oh,
mhm.
you're filming something, and that's weird, and but like we know that being observed makes people behave differently, so.
Right.
And she's obviously aware that she's making a show. She's got her own
Mhm,
sort of
mhm.
curated narrative version of
Right.
events.
Right.
And so, yeah, I mean, it is performative. Like there is no time in which Lizzie Bennett is not aware that she's performing for an audience, even in
Mhm,
like the
mhm.
most sincere moments, right? Because
Right.
otherwise she could have turned off the camera. Like she always could
Mhm.
have turned off the camera. And so there is any work of fiction kind of
Right.
asks you to suspend your disbelief. But we
Mhm.
really kind of like stretched the believability of like why some of these things would have happened on camera.
Yeah.
But also like there's no point necessarily picking it apart, because like that is, we asked you to go on that journey with us and you did, and
Right, and
that's
it
true of
it
watching anything.
and it was a scripted show, and I
Mhm.
think what's really kind of cool is that in the beginning there were people who were not sure whether this was real or not.
Yeah.
Like, people who thought there was like legit a girl named Lizzie Bennett who was
Well,
vlogging.
to be fair, like I mean, it's sort of classist of me, honestly, to just assume that like everyone has read Pride and Prejudice, or is at least
Mm,
familiar with it,
mhm.
um, and very like Western centric as well.
Yeah.
But like the I did have a love of Pride and Prejudice,
Yeah,
and
as did
Jane
I.
Austen, and I
Mhm.
had been exposed at a young age. But the first time I read Pride and Prejudice, it's because I was assigned in high school, and
Right, right.
some people may have been assigned a different book. You
Yeah,
know?
I'm curious if anyone discovered our show first and
Oh, a lot of
then
people
what.
did.
Oh, okay, that's awesome. Yeah, I was curious about that, and then they discovered the novel. Like, that's
Yeah,
so
no,
cool.
that was that was like one of the things that we would hear a lot at the time. You've just forgot.
I just forgot. I forgot everything clearly.
That's fine.
I'm like, what would have been cool, and then you're like, yeah, that happened. That actually happened.
Yeah.
People told us. Multiple
You're like,
people.
what if instead of a proposal, Charlotte got a business offer? I'm like,
Wouldn't
yeah,
that have been
what
cool?
if?
Yeah, that actually
Um,
happened.
it's a good way to adapt it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. How long has it been?
It was at, I think, our first VidCon when someone came through the line and said to me that the Lizzie Bennett Diaries is what got her into Pride and Prejudice, and it's what got her mom into YouTube, and that they were able to connect
Oh,
on that.
wow.
Yeah. Well,
That's
and
so
tons of people have
cool.
also watched the Lizzie Bennett Diaries in lieu of reading Pride and Prejudice and tried to like get through some high school stuff that way. And
Not quite the
I would
same.
like to know if anyone got caught because they were wrong about the plot, or if people were writing
Yeah.
that a bunch of sympathetic stuff about Lydia that is kind of a stretch in the book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, and yeah, if you I've heard from a lot of people who wrote
Mm.
academic papers about Lizzie Bennett, and that's
Yeah.
so cool. And if Lizzie Bennett helped you understand what was happening in Pride and Prejudice better, and that got you through
Hmm.
high school, super cool. But if you actually didn't read Pride and Prejudice and just watched Lizzie Bennett Diaries, I want to hear about it. Did you get
Yeah.
caught? Did you get away with it?
Like
Did
you
you write
want, yeah,
anything?
you watch the show in lieu of for like an assignment or something. You should have just read the book. Just read
I
the book.
want to know.
Yeah.
Please tell me that.
Yeah.
But yeah, and teachers would use it as a tool in the classroom to help get people into Pride and Prejudice. It made it
Hmm.
a little more
Hmm.
relatable for some
Hmm.
people
Yeah.
to
More
see
accessible for
as
sure.
contemporary and young, and And I think that the writers did do such a good job of updating these characters for the time and place that we
Yeah.
were.
Yeah.
And so, there were some people who felt like right off the bat that Lizzie was too, judgmental or I don't know, not likable enough, because people really strongly identify with Elizabeth Bennet in Pride and
Mhm.
Prejudice. Like a
Mhm.
lot of people are like, that character like represents me. And then here I
Right.
come and I'm like, wah, 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 and my sister's a slut. And people are like, that is not Elizabeth Bennet.
Right.
Um, but I think it's a fair interpretation of what an American Elizabeth Bennet in 2012 might be.
Right. And to think about, maybe that original Elizabeth Bennet wasn't someone who was meant to be kind of pedestalized and idolized,
Right, like
because in her time she was kind of a social outcast. Like that wasn't
and
normal for
she
a
was,
woman to
yeah,
act
she
like
was
that.
rejecting a lot of the roles assigned to her.
Mhm.
And Charlotte Lucas is also a character who had a much more practical view of things.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
Elizabeth Bennet was only going to marry for love, and Charlotte Lucas is like, I have to get married or I'm in a very difficult financial situation. Like,
Right. Right.
women did not have so many options. And I love the way that
Mhm.
we updated that, and we'll get to it in the future. But I think that right from the beginning that we see this kind of clash of the idealist and
Right.
the more practical
Mhm.
one. So
Pragmatist. Yeah.
pragmatist, that's a word. Well, let's take a look at some of the comments, shall we? Wandering Lizzie 9 years ago reminds us that in the book, Charlotte is still
Mm.
the reasonable one. She married a man who can provide for her, and in those days, that is all that a woman can reasonably ask for. Lizzie turned down the same man because she did not love him and could not stand him. Austen has created their characters this way, and the creators of All We Did an amazing job bringing
Mhm.
that into a modern context. Yeah, the writers
Mhm.
were really on it.
Yeah.
Victoria Vining says, how is Lizzie both so flawed and so lovable at the same time? Oh, right, Ashley Clements. Thank you, Victoria. Everyone is
She
welcome to
wasn't
come
wrong.
fluff my ego at any time.
Leave a comment whenever.
Lily James, probably not the Lily James, but
The
a
little
Lily
I
James.
It could be, could be.
It's probably the Lily James. She's a
Mhm,
fan. 8 years
mhm.
ago
Yep,
says,
yep.
Lizzie hates changing her mind. So true. Charlotte is so much more perceptive than her. So many clues in this video that Darcy isn't as bad as Lizzie claims.
Mhm, mhm.
The fans got it. The fans got it.
They're always on it. They were definitely more on it than we were, I think.
Super fun to reminisce with you.
Yeah,
And that
sorry I forgot
concludes.
everything. Sorry.
God, Julia, I sent you your
Sorry.
lines.
I
I sent you your memories.
uh,
Check your inbox.
did not do my homework.
Um, well, this concludes the episodes that were shot on the very first day, which means that from here on out, the Lizzie Bennet Diaries existed in the world and people were interacting with it when we were filming episodes. But this is the end of our little bubble in which we had no idea what we'd gotten into and if anyone would ever watch it and what it would
Mhm,
be.
mhm.
And so
The calm before the storm,
say
perhaps.
goodbye to our innocence and say goodbye to Julia
Bye.
and to me.
Bye.